Dutch Garrett needed milk. That's what brought him to the Pine Bluff Walmart on a Saturday afternoon in September when the Arkansas heat still hung thick and the store smelled like fried chicken from the deli and floor cleaner somebody had just mopped near produce. 6'4", 250 pounds, gray streaking through his beard like smoke through timber, tattoos running down both arms, scripture on the right, names of the dead on the left, Iron Ridge Motorcycle Club vest hanging open over a black t-shirt, boots that had walked through mud and blood and 20 years of roads most people never see. He pushed a shopping cart through the entrance. The greeter, an elderly woman with a name tag that said Dolores, smiled at him the way people smile when they're not sure if they should. Nervous, polite, ready to look away. Dutch nodded, kept walking. He was used to it. The stairs, the wide berth people gave him in aisles. Parents pulling their kids closer when he passed. Store security following him with their eyes even though he'd never stolen anything in his life. Well, not from a Walmart anyway. It was a normal Saturday, families everywhere, kids begging for toys they didn't need, couples arguing about which brand of coffee to buy, old men in veteran caps moving slow through the pharmacy section. The American dream on display in fluorescent lighting and discount prices. Dutch headed for dairy. The clubhouse was hosting a meeting tonight. He needed milk for coffee. Beer was already handled. So were the snacks. But somebody always forgot the milk, and then you had 15 bikers drinking black coffee and complaining about it. He turned down aisle 12. Cereal on one side, baking supplies on the other. A young mother with 3 kids blocked half the aisle. Her cart overflowing. Her patience clearly running thin. The kids were arguing about which cereal had the best toy. She looked exhausted, looked like she hadn't slept in days. Dutch waited, patient, not rushing her. When she finally noticed him standing there, this giant of a man in motorcycle club colors, she grabbed her kids and pulled her cart aside fast, apologizing, eyes down, like she expected him to yell or push past or do something threatening. He just nodded, said thank you quietly, kept moving. That's how it always was. People saw the vest, the patches, the size of him. They saw danger, saw violence, saw everything society had taught them to fear about men like him. They didn't see the man who'd served his country, who'd held dying boys in Fallujah and whispered promises he couldn't keep, who'd lost the most important person in his life because he looked away for 5 minutes. They didn't see Dutch. They saw what Dutch looked like. He grabbed milk from the cooler, the gallon kind, checked the expiration date out of habit, started heading toward checkout, already thinking about the ride home, about the meeting tonight, about whether he'd remembered to pay his electric bill. That's when the world changed, a sound first, high and desperate, the kind of sound that makes every head turn, every conversation stop, the kind that triggers something primal in anyone who's ever been a parent or known fear or understood what it means when a child cries like that. Not crying, screaming, but silent, no voice behind it, just breath and terror in the wet gasp of someone whose lungs can't quite pull in enough air. Dutch's head snapped up, military training taking over, threat assessment, locate source, identify danger, movement through the main aisle, a blur of motion, small, fast, stumbling. A little girl, 6 years old maybe, tiny, wearing pink shorts and a white t-shirt with a cartoon character on it, sneakers that lit up when she ran, brown hair falling out of a ponytail, face streaked with tears and snot and absolute terror. Her hands were moving, frantic, desperate, flying through the air in patterns that Dutch recognized immediately. That made his blood go cold. That brought back memories he'd spent 20 years trying to bury. American Sign Language. She was deaf, and she was signing the same thing over and over. Help. Please, help. Mama. Help. The crowd parted for her, not because they were trying to help, because they didn't know what to do with a child running through the store sobbing, because her silence made it worse somehow, made it more disturbing. This kid crying without sound, this terror without voice. Dutch watched her scan the crowd, watched her look at faces, searching, looking for something, someone, the way a drowning person looks for anything to grab onto. Her eyes locked on him. The big man in the motorcycle vest. The one everyone else was avoiding. The dangerous one. The scary one. The one mothers pull their children away from. She ran straight to him, didn't hesitate, didn't slow down, just ran. Those light-up sneakers flashing. Those small hands still signing. Help, please, help. Dutch's cart was between them. He moved it aside, dropped to one knee without thinking, made himself smaller, less intimidating, the way you do when you don't want to scare something already terrified. She crashed into him, grabbed fistfuls of his vest, buried her face against his chest, her whole body shaking, silent sobs racking through her, those little hands still trying to sign, still trying to tell him, still desperate to be understood. The store went quiet, everyone staring. This massive biker, this little girl, this impossible moment. Dutch's hands moved automatically. Muscle memory from another life, another person, another little girl who'd needed him to understand. His fingers formed the signs, slow, clear, making eye contact so she could read his face, so she could see he meant it. Safe. You're safe, I understand. Tell me. The girl's head jerked up, eyes huge, brown and wet and filled with hope that someone, anyone, could hear her, could understand what she was trying to say. Her hands started moving again, faster now, more desperate, signing with the kind of urgency that comes when you have been screaming into silence and someone finally answers. Man, bad man, lock me, car, hot. Mama won't wake up. Mama sleeping wrong. Help, Mama. Please help, Mama. Dutch's jaw clenched. His hands kept signing, asking questions. Where? Who? How long? Getting details the way he'd been trained to do in combat, the way you gather intel when lives depend on it. Behind her, around them. The crowd was pressing closer. Phones out, recording, taking pictures, doing what people do now instead of actually helping. Documenting tragedy instead of stopping it. An older woman, gray hair, floral dress, Walmart employee vest, pushed through the crowd. She looked at Dutch, at the girl, at the scene that probably looked like kidnapping to someone who didn't understand. Sir, the woman's voice was firm, suspicious. What's going on here? Why is this child? Dutch looked up at her, made eye contact. His voice came out rough. Hadn't spoken to anyone in hours, hadn't needed to. Call 911. Right now, this girl's been kidnapped, locked in a car, her mother's unconscious, possibly dead. We need police and paramedics, now. The woman's face changed. From suspicion to shock to action. She pulled a phone from her pocket, started dialing, her hands shaking. Other shoppers were backing away now, creating distance. The way people do when they realize something real is happening. Something that's not entertainment. Something that might require them to actually do something. Dutch kept his attention on the girl, kept signing. What's your name? Her hands formed the letters, L-I-L-A, Leela. Dutch fingers spelled it back, making sure he had it right. She nodded, tears still streaming, but something in her face, something that looked like hope, like relief, like maybe this giant, scary man in the leather vest was exactly who she'd needed to find. Dutch signed again. Where's your mama? Where's the car? Lila's hands moved, explaining, camper, behind Shell Station. She pointed vaguely. That direction? Not far. Travis locked me in car. Mama won't wake up. Mama drank something. Travis gave her something. She won't wake up. Dutch's blood went cold. It's when his hands formed another sign, automatic. Who's Travis? Mama's boyfriend? Lila's signs were getting slower, more tired, like the adrenaline was wearing off, like she was starting to crash. Bad man, mean to Mama, mean to me. He locked me, said stay quiet. But car was hot, so hot. Couldn't breathe. Broke window, ran. Brave girl. Dutch signed. Very brave. You did right. Police are coming. The older woman, Rita, according to her name tag. She'd finished the call, crouched down near them. Her voice gentler now. Are you hurt, honey? Lila looked at Dutch, confused. She couldn't hear the question. Couldn't read the woman's lips from that angle. Dutch signed Rita's question. Lila shook her head, signed back. Not hurt, scared, want Mama. She says she's not hurt. Dutch translated. But her mother needs help. Camper behind the Shell station on Highway 49. Mother's unconscious. Boyfriend gave her something. Locked this girl in a car. She broke out and ran. Rita's hand went to her mouth. Oh my God. More people were gathering now. Store security, a manager, customers who couldn't help themselves. Had to see, had to know, had to be part of the drama. A man in a security uniform, young, maybe 25, stepped forward. Sir, I need you to. He stopped. Looked at Lila clutching Dutch's vest. At Dutch's hand still signing. At the way this dangerous-looking biker was being so impossibly gentle with this terrified child. I need you to stay here until police arrive, not going anywhere. Dutch's voice was flat. Girl's not leaving my sight. And I'm not leaving hers. Lila was signing again. Smaller now. Weaker. Where's Mama? Is Mama okay? Dutch signed back. Honest. Police coming. Ambulance coming. They'll help Mama. You're safe here. Promise. The girl buried her face against his vest again, her small hands gripping the leather like it was the only solid thing in a world that had just tried to kill her. Dutch stayed perfectly still. Let her hold on. Let her feel safe. Because he understood something the crowd around them didn't. He understood what it meant to be 6 years old and alone. To need help and have no voice. To trust someone who looks scary because sometimes the scariest looking people are the safest ones to run to. 20 years ago, another little girl, different situation, same silence. Ren, his baby sister, 8 years old, deaf since birth. The whole family had learned sign language, made it normal, made it easy. Ren had never been treated different, never been made to feel less than. Until the day Dutch took his eyes off her for 5 minutes. Family camping trip, Lake Dardanelle, hot August afternoon. Ren was playing at the water's edge, collecting rocks, showing them to Dutch, making up stories about where they came from. Her hands flying through signs, her face so alive, so happy. Dutch had turned away, just for a moment, to grab a beer from the cooler, to say something to his dad, to look at his phone. 5 minutes, maybe less. When he turned back, Ren was gone. They found her floating, face down, 10 feet from shore. She'd waded out, maybe chasing a fish, maybe reaching for something. No one would ever know, because Ren couldn't call for help, couldn't scream, couldn't make anyone understand she was drowning. Dutch had pulled her out, done Seeper, breathed air into lungs that wouldn't work anymore, pumped a chest that wouldn't beat. His hands, these same hands, trying to bring back life that had already left. 20 minutes of trying, of refusing to quit, of begging God or fate or anything that would listen. Until the paramedics arrived and took over, until they looked at him with those eyes, the ones that said it's over, the ones that said there's nothing more you can do. Ren had been dead before he even pulled her out. The medical examiner said so later, said she'd drowned fast, said even if Dutch had been watching, he probably couldn't have saved her, said it wasn't his fault. Dutch never believed that, still didn't, would never forgive himself for those 5 minutes, for turning away, for not being there when she needed him. He joined the Marines 3 months later, couldn't stay home, couldn't look at his parents, couldn't walk past Ren's room, couldn't exist in a world where his baby sister was just gone. Combat was easier. At least in war you knew who the enemy was. At least in war the things that killed you made sense. He'd learned more ASL from other vets. The military had programs. Support for deaf soldiers. For families of deaf soldiers. Dutch had thrown himself into it, made himself fluent, made himself useful. Like maybe if he could help someone else's deaf kid, he could make up for failing his own sister. It hadn't worked. 20 years later, Ren was still gone. The guilt was still there. The nightmare still came. The memory of her face, underwater, eyes open, staring at nothing. Dutch had come home eventually, joined at Iron Ridge MC, found brotherhood with men who understood loss, who understood that some sins you can't wash off. You just learn to carry them, learn to keep moving, learn to be useful in whatever ways you can. He'd never expected to use ASL again, never thought he'd kneel in a Walmart and have another little deaf girl run to him for help. But here she was, Lila, 6 years old, brown eyes, silent tears, trusting him, depending on him, giving him what Ren never got to give him. A second chance. Dutch wasn't going to fail this one. Sirens outside, getting closer, red and blue lights flashing through the store windows. The crowd parted as two Pine Bluff police officers pushed through. One of them Dutch recognized. Tom Bradley, sheriff's deputy who'd been around forever. Good man, fair, knew the MC was in trouble. Tom stopped, took in the scene. The biker, the little girl, the way she was holding on to Dutch like he was the only solid thing in a flood. Dutch, Tom's voice was careful, professional. What have we got? Girl's name is Lila. Dutch spoke while still signing, making sure Lila could see, so she'd know what was being said. She's deaf, 6 years old, says she was kidnapped and locked in a car, broke out and ran here. Her mother's unconscious in a camper behind the Shell station on 49. Boyfriend did it. Guy named Travis. Gave the mother something. Locked the kid in a car. Lila here broke a window and escaped. Tom pulled out his notebook. Started writing. You get all this from sign language. Dutch nodded. My sister was deaf. I'm fluent. Tom's face changed, softened. Dutch, man, I didn't know you had a sister. Had. Past tense. Dutch's voice was flat. She died 20 years ago. Drowned. Tom went quiet for a second. Then, I'm sorry. He looked at Lila, at the way she was watching Dutch's hands, at the trust in her face. She's lucky you were here. Lucky's not the word I'd use. Dutch's jaw was tight. But I'm not letting her go until you sort this out. She stays with me. Understand? Tom looked at his partner. At the crowd, at the situation, nodded, for now. But we'll need statements, and social services is coming. I'll talk to whoever you need. But she doesn't leave my sight. Dutch's voice had gone hard, non-negotiable. This girl's been through hell. She found someone who can communicate with her. You try to take her away, you'll traumatize her worse. I stay with her, or you'll have a problem. Tom held up his hands. Easy, nobody's taking her anywhere yet. Let me radio this in, get units to that camper, then we'll figure out next steps. While Tom radioed, his partner, a younger officer Dutch didn't know, was taking statements from witnesses. Rita told her story, others chimed in. Everyone had a piece, everyone wanted to be part of it. Lila was still holding on to Dutch's vest, her face pressed against his chest, not looking at the crowd, not watching the chaos, just holding on. Like she was afraid if she let go, she'd disappear. Dutch kept one hand on her back, steady pressure, grounding, the way you handle someone in shock. Let them know you're there. Let them know they're real. Let them know it's going to be okay even when you're not sure it will be. Tom finished his call, looked at Dutch. Units are rolling to the Shell station. Ambulance is en route, he paused. Dutch, the mother, if she's OD'd or poisoned. This might not end well. I know. Dutch's voice was quiet, but this girl needs to believe her mama's okay. So that's what I'm telling her. You got a problem with that? Tom shook his head. No problem. You keep her calm. We'll handle the rest. Then the store entrance opened again. More commotion. A woman's voice, loud, angry, drunk or high or both. Where the hell is she? The voice echoed across the store. Everyone turned. Where's that little brat? She's mine. Give her back. A man stumbled through the entrance. Greasy blonde hair, trucker cap, stained white t-shirt, jeans hanging low, reek of alcohol and cigarettes and something chemical. Eyes red and wild, moving with the loose aggression of someone who's wasted and looking for a fight. Travis. Dutch felt Lila go rigid, felt her breath catch, felt her fingers dig into his vest so hard her knuckles went white. She was signing against his chest. Fast. Panicked. Him. Bad man. Him. 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 Dutch moved without thinking. Stood, keeping Lila behind him, putting his body between her and Travis. His hand dropped to his belt. Not for a weapon, just instinct. Threat assessment, protective stance. Travis spotted them, stumbled forward, pointing. That's her. That's my kid. Give her here, Tom stepped in. Sir, stop right there. Travis ignored him, kept walking, kept pointing. She's my stepdaughter. She's always pulling this crap. running off, causing problems. You know how deaf kids are. His words slurred. Always getting into trouble, need constant watching. Your stepdaughter. Dutch's voice cut through the store like a blade. Then where's her mother? Why's a 6-year-old running through a store terrified while you're drunk at 2 in the afternoon? Travis finally focused on Dutch, sized him up. The vest, the siege, the look in Dutch's eyes that said, try me. Who the hell are you? Some kind of vigilante. Travis tried to puff up, tried to look tough. This is none of your business. She's my responsibility. Wrong. Dutch didn't move, didn't blink. She ran away from you. That tells me everything I need to know. And you smell like bourbon and meth. So you're not taking this girl anywhere. Travis lunged, tried to shove past, tried to get to Lila. Dutch caught his wrist. Easy, like stopping a child. Turned it, applied pressure. The way Marines are taught, the way that makes joints bend wrong, makes strong men drop fast. Travis went down, hard, on his knees, crying out. The tough guy act vanishing. Tom and his partner moved in, Tom grabbing Travis's other arm. The partner pulling cuffs, Travis on the ground, face first, still yelling, still claiming Lila was his, still demanding they let him go. Tom pulled him up once he was cuffed. Ran his ID, ran his name. The results came back fast. His face changed. Travis Crowley, you've got warrants, multiple. Louisiana, assault, burglary, shoplifting. He looked at his partner, and he's been on the run for 9 years. Travis started screaming then, real screaming, not words, just rage, just the sound of someone whose world just ended, who realized too late that kidnapping a kid and poisoning her mother was the mistake that finally caught up to him. They dragged him out, still screaming, still fighting, the crowd parting, everyone filming, everyone shocked. Dutch knelt again, turned, looked at Lila. She was crying, silent tears, but her face, there was something in her face that looked like relief. He's gone, Dutch signed. Police have him, he can't hurt you, can't hurt your mama. You're safe. Lila launched herself at him, wrapped her arms around his neck, buried her face in his shoulder. And Dutch, this big, dangerous man who made people step aside, who wore a vest that marked him as an outsider, who carried 20 years of guilt like stones in his chest. Dutch held her. Tom walked back over. Paramedics just radioed in. They found the mother. She's alive, barely. Looks like an opioid overdose. They're transporting to Pine Bluff Regional. He paused. Dutch, that girl, she saved her mother's life. If she hadn't run, hadn't gotten help, her mother would be dead in that camper. Dutch looked down at Lila, at this 6-year-old who'd broken a car window and run through a strange place and trusted a stranger and done everything right when the world was ending. He signed, your mama's going to hospital, doctors helping her. You saved her. You did good. Lila looked up at him, signed, stay with me, and Dutch, who'd failed his sister, who'd spent 20 years trying to make up for 5 minutes of not paying attention, who'd thought he'd never get a chance to matter to a deaf child again. Dutch signed back without hesitation. I'm not going anywhere, promise. Behind them, the store was returning to normal. People going back to shopping, the drama over, the entertainment done, life moving on. But for Dutch, for Lila, everything had changed. In the dairy aisle of a Pine Bluff Walmart, between the milk he'd never bought and the cereal nobody needed, a biker and a deaf girl had found each other, had become each other's second chance. And Dutch, for the first time in 20 years, felt like maybe, just maybe, Ren would forgive him. Outside, more sirens, an ambulance pulling out, heading to Pine Bluff Regional, carrying a woman who had been poisoned by her boyfriend, who'd almost died, who had no idea her 6-year-old daughter had just saved her life. Inside, Tom approached again, this time with a woman, mid-50s, professional clothes, badge clipped into her belt, social services, Dutch. This is Beth Carver. She's with Seeps. We need to sort out placement for Lila while her mother's in the hospital. Beth looked at Dutch, at Lila, at the way the girl was holding on to him like he was the only safe thing in the world. Mr. Garrett, Beth's voice was careful. I understand you helped Lila today, and I'm grateful, but we need to place her in emergency foster care. Her mother's condition is serious. It could be days before she's stable. We can't leave a child with, she hesitated, with someone who isn't cleared, who isn't family. Dutch stood, still holding Lila. She stays with me. Beth shook her head. That's not how this works. I need to place her with an approved foster family. Someone who's been vetted, someone who can't talk to her. Dutch cut her off, his voice steady, firm. Someone who doesn't know sign language. Someone who'll put her in a room with strangers and expect her to just deal with it while her mother's dying. That's what you're suggesting. I'm suggesting protocol. Beth's voice had an edge now. I understand you have good intentions, but you're a member of a motorcycle club. You have no background with children. You have no clearance. I can't just hand a traumatized child to a stranger. Lila was watching Dutch's face, reading his expression, starting to understand, starting to panic. Dutch looked at Tom. You know me, you know my record, you know I'm not a threat. Tell her. Tom sighed. Beth, Dutch served. Marines, honorable discharge. He's been in Pine Bluff 5 years. No trouble, club's clean. They do charity rides, help with veteran programs. And his sister. He paused. His sister was deaf. She died when Dutch was in his 20s. That's why he knows ASL. That's why this girl ran to him. Beth looked at Lila, at the way she was clinging to Dutch, at the trust in her face. I understand that, I do, but it doesn't change protocol. This child needs proper placement. Lila's hands started moving, signing to Dutch. Desperate. What's she saying? I stay with you, right? I stay with you. Dutch's jaw clenched. He signed back. She wants to take you somewhere else, with people who can't talk to you. But I'm trying to stop her. I'm trying to make you stay with me. Lila turned to Beth, started signing, fast, frantic, the kind of signing that comes from pure panic. Beth just stared. She doesn't understand, Dutch said quietly. Lila's telling her she wants to stay with me, that she's scared, that you're scaring her, but you can't hear her because she has no voice. Beth's face softened, conflicted. Mr. Garrett, I believe you're trying to help, but I have a job to do, and my job is protecting children, even from well-meaning strangers. Then do your job. Dutch's voice went hard. Protect this child who just escaped a kidnapping, who just saved her mother's life, who found one person in this entire store who could understand her. You take her away from me, you traumatize her worse, you make her feel alone again. Is that protecting her? Beth pulled out her phone, started typing. I need to make calls, get approval. This isn't normal. Nothing about this is normal. Dutch shifted Lila in his arms. But here's what I know. This girl trusts me, and I'm not breaking that trust. So you figure out your protocols. You make your calls. But until you do, she's with me. And if you try to take her, you'll have to go through me. Understand? Tom stepped between them. Easy, both of you. Beth, give Dutch temporary custody, just for tonight. He can stay at the hospital with the girl while her mother's in surgery. Tomorrow we sort out formal placement. But right now, that kid needs stability, and Dutch is providing it. Let it go. Beth looked at Tom, at Dutch, at Lila, at the crowd of people still watching, at the cameras still recording. She sighed, fine, temporary, tonight only, but tomorrow we're doing this properly. Background check, home visit, the works. And if anything doesn't check out, she's going into foster care immediately. Understood. Dutch's voice was steady. You do what you need to do. I've got nothing to hide. Beth left, still on her phone, still typing, still trying to fit this square peg into the round hole of bureaucracy. Tom looked at Dutch. You sure about this? Dutch looked down at Lila, at her face, at the way she was finally starting to breathe normally, at the trust in her eyes. Yeah, I'm sure, Tom nodded. All right, I'll drive you both to the hospital. Get your statement there. And Dutch, he paused. What you did today, that was good. Real good. Your sister, wherever she is, I think she'd be proud. Dutch didn't answer, just held Lila, just walked toward the exit, toward the parking lot, toward a hospital where a mother was fighting for her life, toward a future he'd never expected, toward something that felt like redemption. The milk stayed behind, forgotten. The clubhouse meeting would have to go without it. because Dutch Garrett had something more important to do. He had to keep a promise to a 6-year-old girl who couldn't speak. And maybe, just maybe, keep a promise to a little girl who died 20 years ago. Ren, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, but I'm here for this one. I swear, I won't fail her. I won't look away. I won't let her drown. Outside, the September sun was brutal, the asphalt shimmering, Tom's cruiser idling by the curb. Lila in Dutch's arms, her head on his shoulder, her breathing slow, finally calm. As they walked toward the car, Lila's hands moved, signing against Dutch's chest, small, tired, but clear. Thank you. You saved me. You heard me. Nobody ever hears me. Dutch signed back with one hand, the other supporting her, holding her safe. I hear you. I'll always hear you. You're not alone anymore. And in that parking lot, under that brutal sun, between a Walmart and whatever came next, a promise was made, the kind that changes everything, the kind that saves 2 lives instead of 1. Because sometimes the person who looks most dangerous is exactly who you need to run to. And sometimes saving someone else is how you finally save yourself. Dutch Garrett hadn't known he'd needed saving, hadn't thought redemption was possible, hadn't believed he'd ever stop seeing Ren's face underwater, hadn't imagined he'd ever matter to another deaf child. But life has a way of giving you second chances when you least expect them. Usually in a dairy aisle, usually on a Saturday afternoon, usually in the form of a 6-year-old girl with no voice who runs straight to the scariest person in the room. Because she knows, somehow, instinctively, that scary doesn't mean dangerous, that size doesn't mean threat, that sometimes the biggest hands are the gentlest ones, and sometimes the man everyone avoids is exactly the man who won't let you down. The cruiser door opened, dish out slid into the back, Lila still in his arms, still holding on, still trusting. Tom got in front, started driving. Lights flashing but no siren. No need to terrify the kid worse. Through the window, Pine Bluff rolled past, small town Arkansas, familiar streets, the hardware store where Dutch bought motorcycle parts, the diner where the club ate breakfast, the Veterans Hall where they held memorials. Home, or as close to home as Dutch had felt in 20 years. Lila's eyes were closing, exhaustion finally winning, adrenaline gone, safety making sleep possible. Dutch held her, kept her steady, let her rest, because tomorrow would be hard. Tomorrow would bring questions and investigations, and Beth Carver with her protocols and her skepticism and her job to do. But tonight, right now, in this moment, a little girl was safe, was held, was heard, was believed. And that mattered. That mattered more than anything. The hospital came into view. Pine Bluff Regional, white building, emergency entrance, ambulances in the bay. The place where Cassie Morgan was fighting for her life, where doctors were trying to undo what Travis had done, where a mother would wake up, if she woke up, and find out her daughter had saved her. Tom parked, looked back, ready. Dutch nodded, gathered Lila. Her arms went around his neck automatically, even in sleep, even exhausted, still holding on. They walked into the hospital, past the triage desk, past the waiting room, past all the normal Saturday injuries and illnesses and emergencies, straight to a private room where Beth was already waiting, where paperwork would be filled out, where temporary became official. At least for tonight, Lila stirred, looked around, signed. Where are we? Hospital. Dutch signed back. Where your mama is, doctors helping her. We're staying here tonight, together. I'm not leaving you. Promise. Promise. And Dutch Garrett, who'd spent 20 years breaking his own heart over a promise he couldn't keep to a dead girl, made a new promise to a living one, and meant every word. The dairy aisle was behind them, the Walmart far away. But the moment lived on, would live on, because some moments don't end. They just transform. They become the foundation for everything that comes after. A biker and a deaf girl, an impossible meeting, an unlikely bond, a second chance neither knew they needed, and a promise that would change both their lives forever. That's how it started, in a store that sold everything and nothing, on a Saturday when Dutch just needed milk, when Lila just needed someone to hear her, when two broken people found each other and became each other's answer. Sometimes that's how salvation works. Not with angels and harps and clouds, but with light-up sneakers and motorcycle vests and hands that can speak when voices can't. Sometimes God doesn't send who you expect. Sometimes he sends who you need. And sometimes who you need is the person everyone else is afraid of. Dutch sat in the hospital chair, Lila asleep in his lap, Beth finishing paperwork across the room, Tom making calls in the hallway. And for the first time since Ren died, Dutch felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be, doing exactly what he was meant to do. Finally, after 20 years of drowning, finally coming up for air. Ren, this one's for you. This one I won't fail. This one I'll keep safe. I promise, I swear, on everything I am. This one lives, in somewhere, maybe. A little 8-year-old girl with Ren's smile and Ren's hands and Ren's silence. Smiled too, because her big brother finally understood that saving yourself means saving someone else, that redemption is real, and that love doesn't end when someone dies. It just finds new ways to matter, new hands to hold, new promises to keep, new chances to get it right. The hospital hummed with life, machines beeping, nurses rushing, doctors working, and in a quiet room at the end of a long hall, a biker held a little girl and kept his promise and didn't look away and proved that sometimes, just sometimes, the story gets to have a happy ending, even in Pine Bluff, even on a Saturday, even when you just needed milk. The hospital room smelled like antiseptic and fear. Cassie Morgan lay in the ICU bed, tubes running into her arms, machines breathing for her, monitors beeping steady rhythms that meant life. Barely, doctor. Ava Fletcher stood at the foot of the bed, 40 years old. Tired eyes, white coat with a name tag that said Pine Bluff Regional Emergency Department. She looked at the chart, then at Dutch, then at Lila sleeping in the chair beside him. Opioid overdose. Dr. Fletcher's voice was quiet, professional, fentanyl, high concentration. If your daughter hadn't gotten help when she did, her mother would be dead. Another hour, maybe less. She's not my daughter. Dutch's voice was equally quiet, not wanting to wake Lila. Met her 3 hours ago, but she's with me now. Dr. Fletcher studied him. The vest, the tattoos, the way he sat with perfect stillness so the sleeping child in his lap wouldn't wake. I heard what happened, what you did. She paused. Most people would have walked away. Most people can't sign. The doctor nodded, looked at Cassie, at the 28-year-old woman fighting for her life. She's stable, for now, but we won't know about brain damage until she wakes up. If she wakes up, the boyfriend, Travis, he gave her enough to kill her, made it look like she took it herself. Attempted murder. Dutch's jaw clenched, added to his list. Does she have family? Someone we can call? Dutch shook his head. Social workers handling it. Mother's been in and out of rehab. This was supposed to be her fresh start. She met Travis at a recovery facility. He looked at Lila. Poor kid. Doesn't know her mama might not wake up. You going to tell her when I have to, not before. Let her sleep. Let her feel safe. Tomorrow's soon enough for more nightmares. Dr. Fletcher made notes on the chart. We'll keep the mother sedated for 24 hours. Let her body process the toxins. After that, we wake her up and see what's left. She looked at Dutch. The girl, Lila, she's lucky she found you. I'm lucky she found me. Dutch adjusted his position slightly. Lila stirred but didn't wake. Been a long time since I mattered to someone. Dr. Fletcher left, the door closing soft. Dutch sat in the dim light, Lila breathing steady, Cassie's machines beeping, the night passing slow. His phone buzzed. Text from Priest, the club president. Heard what happened. You need anything? We're here, Dutch typed back with one hand. Tomorrow, need to talk to Beth Carver, social worker, get cleared for foster placement. Might need character reference. You got it. Whatever you need, brother. This is what we do. Dutch put the phone away, looked at Lila, at her face relaxed in sleep. The terror finally gone. The tears dried. Just a little girl now, not a survivor, not a victim, just a kid who needed rest. He thought about Ren, always thought about Ren. But now it was different. Now there was someone else in the memory, someone living, someone who needed him the way Wren had needed him. 20 years ago, Lake Dardanelle, August heat, the water so blue it hurt to look at. Wren at the shore, her hands signing. Look, Dutch, look at this one. A rock smooth and white, like an egg. Maybe a dragon egg. Maybe it'll hatch. Dutch laughing, signing back. Dragons aren't real, Wren. Wren's face serious, indignant, 8 years old and certain. How do you know? Have you ever seen all the rocks in the world? Maybe this one's special. Maybe. Dutch had signed. You keep it. If it hatches, I want to meet the dragon. Wren had hugged the rock, put it in her pocket, gone back to searching, her pink swimsuit bright against the water, her hair wet and tangled. Her smile, God, her smile. Dutch had turned away, just for a minute. Dad was calling, asking about dinner, about whether they should start the grill. Mom was unpacking food. His older brother was already in the water, swimming, everything normal, everything safe, everything fine. Until it wasn't. When Dutch turned back, Wren was gone. The rocks she'd collected scattered at the water's edge, her towel on the sand. But no Wren. He'd called her name. Stupid. Useless. She couldn't hear him, but he'd called anyway. Panic already rising. That animal instinct that knows, that understands before your brain catches up. Something's wrong. His brother had seen her first, floating, face down, 10 feet from shore, in water that barely came to Dutch's chest, in water that should have been safe. That was safe, except Wren couldn't call for help, couldn't scream, couldn't make anyone understand she was drowning. Dutch had run, crashed into the water, pulled her out, her body so small, so light, like she was already gone, already just a memory. CPR on the sand, his hands, these same hands, pumping her chest, breathing into her mouth, begging, pleading, Wren. Come on, Wren, breathe. Please breathe. His mother screaming, his father on the phone, his brother crying, people running over, trying to help, getting in the way. Everyone moving but nothing mattering because Wren wasn't breathing. The paramedics had taken over. Professional, calm, doing everything right, everything by the book. But Dutch had seen their faces, had read the truth in their eyes before they said the words. Time of death, 1427, August 18th, 2004. Wren Garrett, 8 years old. Cause of death, drowning. The funeral had been closed casket. Dutch's mother couldn't handle seeing her, couldn't say goodbye to that small, still face. So they'd buried Wren in her favorite dress, the purple one with flowers, with the dragon egg rock in her hand, the one she'd found that day, the one that was supposed to hatch. Dutch had left 3 weeks later, packed a bag, enlisted, told his parents he'd be back, knowing he wouldn't. Not really, not the same Dutch. That Dutch had drowned with Wren. What came after was just going through motions, existing, surviving. The Marines had been good to him, given him structure, purpose, a reason to keep breathing. He'd learned more ASL, worked with deaf vets, made himself useful, made himself into someone who could help. But it never felt like enough, never felt like penance, because Wren was still dead, and Dutch had still been the one who looked away. Until today. Until a little girl with brown eyes and light-up sneakers ran straight to him and trusted him to save her, to hear her, to not look away. Lila shifted in his lap, her hands moving in sleep, signing something. Dutch watched, tried to make out the words. Mama, safe, stay. She was dreaming, processing, trying to make sense of a day that made no sense. Dutch signed back even though she couldn't see, even though she was asleep. Safe. I promise, you're safe. The door opened. Beth Carver stepped in. She'd been gone for hours, making calls, running checks, doing her job. Now she was back, holding a folder, her face unreadable. Mr. Garrett, can we talk? Outside. Dutch looked at Lila. I don't want to leave her. This won't take long, and she's asleep. We'll stay where you can see her through the window. Dutch carefully, so carefully, moved Lila to the chair, tucked a blanket around her. She stirred, signed in her sleep again, but didn't wake. He followed Beth into the hallway, positioned himself where he could see Lila through the door window. Beth opened the folder. I ran your background like I said I would, and you're clean, mostly. Minor arrests, bar fights, disorderly conduct, all over 10 years old. Nothing violent toward women or children. No felonies, honorable discharge from the Marines, 2 tours, infantry, combat medic, Silver Star, Purple Heart. Dutch said nothing. Those medals were in a drawer somewhere. Hadn't looked at them in years. Your sister. Beth's voice softened. Wren, I found the death certificate, the police report. I'm sorry, that must have been. She stopped. Couldn't finish. It was 20 years ago. Dutch's voice was flat. Doesn't matter now. It matters if you're using this child to replace your dead sister. Dutch's jaw clenched. His hands curled into fists, then relaxed. Forced himself to stay calm. I'm not replacing anyone. I'm helping a kid who needs help. That's all. That's all. Beth's eyes were sharp, skeptical. You just met her. You've known her for 4 hours, and you're ready to take on temporary custody, to turn your life upside down, for a stranger, for a deaf child who has nobody else. Dutch met her stare, didn't blink, didn't look away. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'd do it again, every time, because that's what you're supposed to do when a kid needs help. You help, you don't walk away, even if it traumatizes you, even if it brings back your sister's death, even if it destroys you. Then it destroys me. Dutch's voice went hard. But that girl in there, she's alive. She's safe. And she's going to stay that way. Because I'm not looking away this time. I'm not turning around. I'm not assuming someone else will handle it. I'm handling it. Understand? Beth studied him. Long moment. Silence. Then she pulled out papers. I spoke with my supervisor, explained the situation. Your ASL fluency, the lack of other options, the fact that Lila has clearly bonded with you. She sighed. Against my better judgment, I'm approving emergency temporary custody. 72 hours. After that, we reassess. 72 hours. Dutch's voice was steady. What happens after that? We find a proper foster placement. Someone vetted, someone with experience, someone who can't communicate with her. Dutch finished. Someone who will put her in a house with strangers and expect her to cope. That's what you're planning. I'm planning to do my job. Beth's voice had an edge, which is protecting children. All children, even from well-meaning bikers who think they can save the world. I'm not trying to save the world. Just one kid. One kid who ran to me, who trusted me, who needs someone who can hear her. Is that so hard to understand? Beth closed the folder. 72 hours, then we'll see. But Mr. Garrett, if anything at all, goes wrong, if Lila shows any signs of distress, if you can't handle this, she goes into the system immediately. No arguments, no second chances, understood, and you need to stay available. Phone on, location shared, check-ins every 12 hours, and you absolutely cannot take her anywhere without clearing it with me first. Fine. Beth handed him the papers. Temporary custody agreement. You'll need to get her clothes, toiletries, everything a 6-year-old needs. There are resources, programs that can help. I'll manage. There's also, Beth hesitated, the mother, when she wakes up. If she wakes up, you'll need to prepare Lila. This could end badly. I know. And Travis, he's being held on $500,000 bail, attempted murder, kidnapping, child endangerment, plus the warrants from Louisiana. He's not getting out. Attempted murder, kidnapping, child endangerment, plus the warrants from Louisiana. He's not getting out. But Lila will need to testify eventually. Give a statement. That's going to be hard. I'll help her through it. Beth looked through the window at Lila, still sleeping, still peaceful. That little girl has been through hell. She doesn't need a guardian who's working through his own trauma. She needs stability, safety, consistency. Then that's what I'll give her. Dutch's voice was final. Done negotiating. Whatever she needs, however long it takes, I'm here. Now, if you're done, I'm going back in there because I promised her I wouldn't leave, and I keep my promises. He walked back into the room before Beth could respond, sat back down. Lila woke up immediately, looked around, panicked, then saw Dutch. Relaxed. Her hands moved. Signing. Thought you left. Never. I'm here. Go back to sleep. She climbed into his lap, positioned herself, went back to sleep. Just like that. Trust like that. The kind that breaks your heart because it's so pure, so complete, so terrifying in its vulnerability. Dutch held her, watched Cassie's monitors, waited for dawn, for what came next, for whatever challenges the world would throw at them. 3 days passed, Cassie still unconscious, Lila living in that hospital room with Dutch, Beth checking in twice daily, asking questions, observing, taking notes, looking for any reason to pull Lila out. But Lila was okay, better than okay. She ate, she slept, she started signing more, started asking questions about Dutch, about his life, about his motorcycle, about everything. Dutch answered, honest, age-appropriate, letting her be curious, letting her process, letting her be a kid instead of a victim. On day 3, Tom Bradley showed up, brought Dutch a change of clothes, some food that wasn't hospital cafeteria garbage, sat down, looked at the situation. You holding up? Tom's voice was quiet, concerned, managing. Club's asking about you. Priest called me, asked if you needed anything. Dutch looked at Lila. She was coloring. Hospital had given her crayons and paper. She was drawing, her tongue sticking out in concentration. Tell them I'm good. Tell them. He stopped. Tell them I'll need their help. When the 72 hours are up. When Beth tries to place Lila somewhere else. You think she will? I know she will. She's just waiting for an excuse. Any excuse to say I'm not fit. That the MC is too dangerous. That Lila needs a real family. You are a real family. Tom said it simply, like it was obvious. That girl looks at you like you hung the moon. That's family. Try telling Beth that. I will. Already have, multiple times, but she's got protocols, rules. The system doesn't know what to do with situations like this. Then the system's broken, won't get an argument from me. Tom stood. I'll keep making calls, keep vouching for you. But Dutch, be ready. This might not go the way you want. Then I'll fight. Dutch's voice was steel. I'll fight until there's nothing left to fight with. Because I'm not handing her over to strangers. Not while I'm breathing. Tom nodded, left. The room went quiet again except for Cassie's machines and Lila's crayons scratching on paper. On day 4, Dr. Fletcher came in. Different energy, urgent. We're waking her up. Cassie, the sedation's done its job. Time to see if she's still in there. Dutch looked at Lila, at the girl who was about to find out if her mother was coming back, or if her world was about to end completely. You want me to take Lila out while you do this? No. Dr. Fletcher shook her head. Let her stay. If her mother wakes up, if she's coherent, Lila should be here, should see it, should know her mama's fighting for her. And if she doesn't wake up, then Lila should see that too, should understand, should have closure. Either way, she deserves to be here. Dutch signed to Lila, your mama. Doctors are going to try to wake her up. You want to stay, or go somewhere else. Lila's face went serious. Stay. Want to see mama. Okay, but it might be scary. Mama might not wake up right away, or she might wake up confused. Different. You understand? Lila nodded, brave. So impossibly brave for 6 years old. I understand. I stay. Dr. Fletcher worked, reducing medication, monitoring vitals, waiting. The room tense. Dutch holding Lila, both watching Cassie's face, looking for any sign, any movement, any indication that someone was still home. Minutes passed, 10, 15. Then Cassie's eyes fluttered, open, unfocused, confused. The breathing tube still in, panic starting. Dr. Fletcher moved fast. It's okay, Cassie. You're in the hospital. You're safe. You were poisoned. But you're going to be okay. Blink once if you understand. Cassie blinked, tears starting, her eyes searching, landing on Lila. Lila signed. Mama, you're awake. You're okay. I was scared. Cassie couldn't respond, the tube preventing speech. But her hand, her right hand, lifted, shaking, reached out. Lila scrambled off Dutch's lap, ran to the bed, grabbed her mother's hand. Mama, I love you. I was so scared. Dar Fletcher worked on removing the breathing tube. Gentle, professional. Once it was out, Cassie gasped, coughed, her voice raspy, destroyed. Lila, her first word, her only word. Lila, I'm here, Mama. I'm okay. The bad man. Travis. Police took him. He can't hurt us. Cassie's face crumpled, tears streaming. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't know. The drink. He gave me something. I don't remember. I just... She coughed again. I'm sorry. Dutch stayed back, giving them space, giving them this moment. Mother and daughter, both alive, both surviving, both getting a second chance. Dr. Fletcher checked vitals, asked questions, assessed cognition. After 15 minutes, she nodded. No apparent brain damage. Memories intact. Motor function good. She's lucky. Very lucky. Later, after Dr. Fletcher left, after Cassie had been given pain medication and water and time to process, she looked at Dutch, really looked at him. At the man who'd been sitting with her daughter for 4 days, who'd given up his life, his freedom, his everything, for a child he'd just met. You're the biker from Walmart. Her voice was still raspy, still weak. Lila told me, signed to me. You saved her. You heard her. Just did what needed doing. Cassie's eyes filled again. Different tears, grateful tears. I was in a bad place. Drugs, Travis. I thought I was getting clean, thought he was helping me. But she stopped, couldn't finish. He tried to kill you. Dutch's voice was gentle, not accusing, just stating facts. Gave you enough fentanyl to stop your heart. Locked Lila in a car in the heat, left you both to die. He's going to prison for a long time, maybe forever. Good. Cassie looked at Lila, at her daughter coloring again, humming soundlessly. She deserves better than this. Better than me. Better than the life I've given her. You're her mother. You're what she wants, what she needs. Cassie shook her head, weak but certain. No, what she needs is safety, stability, someone who won't let her down, who won't almost get her killed, someone. She looked at Dutch. Someone like you. Dutch went still. Don't do this. Do what? Tell the truth. Cassie's voice was getting stronger, more certain. I've been a terrible mother, addicted, weak, made terrible choices, let terrible men into our lives. Travis is just the latest. There were others, there will be others, because I'm broken, and I keep breaking everyone around me. You can get help, treatment, you can. I can try. Cassie cut him off. And I will try. I'll go back to rehab, get clean. For real this time. But Lila, she can't wait for me to get my act together. Can't keep living in camper vans and cheap motels. Can't keep being put in danger because her mother can't say no to the wrong men. Where is this going? Dutch's voice was careful, controlled. Cassie looked at him, at this stranger who'd become her daughter's protector. Beth, the social worker. She came to see me yesterday, asked me what I wanted for Lila, what I thought was best, and I told her. She paused. I told her I want you to take her. The room went silent. Even the machines seemed to quiet. The weight of those words hanging in the air like smoke. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. Cassie's voice was steady now, clear. Lila ran to you, out of everyone in that store, everyone she could have picked. She ran to you because she knew, kids know, they can sense who's safe, who will protect them. And she chose you. She chose me because I know sign language. That's all. Coincidence. Nothing more. It wasn't coincidence, Cassie smiled, sad, knowing it was fate, or God, or whatever you want to call it. You lost your sister. Lila needed someone who could hear her. You found each other. That's not random. That's meant to be. Dutch shook his head. You're her mother. She loves you. You can't just give her away like she's a puppy you can't take care of. I'm not giving her away. Cassie's voice broke. I'm giving her a chance, a real chance, with someone who won't fail her, won't put her in danger, won't choose drugs over her safety, someone who already loves her. I can see it, the way you look at her, the way you hold her. You already love her. I barely know her. Doesn't matter. Love doesn't need time. It just needs truth. And the truth is, you saved her and now you get to keep her. If you want to. If you're willing. Dutch looked at Lila, still coloring, still humming, still trusting him completely. I don't know how to be a father, neither did mine, but he figured it out. So will you. The system won't allow it. Beth will fight this, put her in foster care, find a proper family, then make them let you. Cassie's voice was fierce. Fight for her the way I can't, the way I'm too weak to do. Be what I'm not. Be what she deserves. Why? Why would you do this? Give up your daughter. Cassie looked at the ceiling, tears streaming down her temples. Because I love her. More than anything. More than drugs. More than men. More than myself. And because I love her. I have to let her go. Have to give her to someone who can actually keep her safe. Someone who won't fail her. Someone. She looked at Dutch. Someone like you. Beth won't approve this. Make her. Cassie's voice was steel. I'm signing voluntary termination of parental rights, giving you legal authority, making it official. Beth can't stop it. And once it's done, Lila's yours, if you want her. And if I say no, then she goes into the system. Bounces from foster home to foster home. Never feeling safe, never feeling heard, never feeling loved. And you live with that. Live with walking away from a child who trusted you, who chose you, who needs you. Dutch sat down, head in his hands. This was insane, impossible. He was a biker, a vet with PTSD, a man who'd spent 20 years punishing himself. He wasn't father material, wasn't family material, wasn't Uncle Dutch. Lila's voice, not her hands, her actual voice, rare, precious. She only spoke when she felt safe, when she felt something deeply, when words mattered more than silence. Dutch looked up. Lila was standing there, holding a drawing. She'd drawn 3 figures, a big one, a small one, and above them another small one, with wings. She pointed to the big figure, you, then the small one on the ground, me, then the one with wings, your sister, Ren, all together, family. How did you, Dutch's voice broke, how did you know about Ren? You signed her name in sleep. Lila's hands moved now, more comfortable in ASL. You dream about her. I see. You miss her. I understand. My papa died. Before I was born, I miss him too, even though I never met him. She held out the drawing. We be family. You, me, Ren, all together, not sad anymore, not alone, together. Dutch took the drawing, stared at it, at this 6-year-old who understood loss, who understood grief, who was offering him. What? Healing, redemption, a chance to matter again. Cassie signed from the bed, slow, unpracticed, but clear enough. Please take care of my baby. Be her papa. She loves you already. And Dutch, who'd spent 20 years drowning in guilt, who'd thought he'd never deserve another chance, who'd been certain that failing Ren was unforgivable, made a choice. He signed to Lila. If you want this, if you want me to be your uncle, your family, then yes, I'll fight for you. I'll keep you safe. I promise. Lila crashed into him, arms around his neck, face buried in his shoulder. Silent crying, relief crying, the kind that comes when the world finally stops being terrifying. When safety becomes real instead of temporary. Cassie watched, crying too, but smiling through it. Thank you. Thank you for saving her. Thank you for being what I couldn't be. Dutch held Lila, looked at this mother who loved her daughter enough to let her go, to give her a chance, to sacrifice everything for her child's safety. I'll bring her to visit. When you're out, when you're clean. She needs to know her mother loves her, I know. And I'll get clean, for real this time. So when she visits, she sees the mother I should have been. Not the wreck I am now. Later that night, after Cassie had fallen asleep, after Dutch had signed the initial custody papers, after Beth had been informed and had started the process despite her reservations. Dutch sat with Lila, explaining what it all meant. Your mama, she loves you very much, and she wants you to be safe. So she asked me if I would take care of you, be your family. Would that be okay? Lila signed, you be my papa. Dutch hesitated. Uncle, I'll be your uncle. Papa is, that's for your real father, the one you never got to meet. I don't want to replace him, but I want to call you Papa. Lila's face was serious, stubborn, because that's what you are. You save me. You keep me safe. You hear me. That's what papas do. Dutch's throat tight. If that's what you want, then, then yes, I'll be your papa, and you'll be my daughter, if that's okay. Lila nodded, climbed into his lap, signed against his chest. I have family now, real family, not temporary, not foster. Real, real. Dutch signed back. Real and permanent and forever. I promise. But Beth Carver had other plans. The next morning she arrived with news, and none of it was good. Mr. Garrett, we need to talk about Lila's placement, about what happens now that her mother's awake. Dutch stood, protective, already knowing where this was going. What's there to talk about? Cassie wants me to have custody. I'm willing. Lila wants it. Simple. It's not simple. Beth's voice was firm, professional. You're not an approved foster parent. You haven't been vetted properly. And now I've found a family, the Thompsons, Carl and Marcia, experienced foster parents. 3 other children already. They're perfect for Lila. They can take her today. No, Dutch's voice was flat. Absolute, she's not going. It's not your choice. Beth pulled out papers. The 72 hours are up. Emergency custody expires. Lila goes into proper foster care until the courts sort out permanent placement. That's how this works. Then the system's broken. Dutch didn't move, didn't back down. That girl has been through hell. She's finally feeling safe. And you want to tear her away from the one person she trusts. Put her with strangers because of protocol, because that's my job, to protect children, even from well-meaning. I'm not a threat. Dutch's hands curled into fists, forced himself to stay calm. I'm the opposite of a threat. I'm exactly what she needs. And you taking her away, that's the real trauma. That's the real damage. Beth looked at Lila, still sleeping in the hospital bed. Peaceful, safe. I've already made the call. The Thompsons are on their way. Lila will be placed with them today. You'll have supervised visitation rights. But that's all. Then I'll fight you. Dutch's voice went hard. I'll get a lawyer. I'll take this to court. I'll do whatever it takes. You do that. Beth's voice matched his. But until then, Lila goes where I say she goes, and she's going to the Thompsons. An hour later, Marcia and Carl Thompson arrived. Late 50s, kind faces, soft voices. They seemed nice, seemed safe, seemed like exactly the kind of people who should foster a traumatized deaf child. Except they didn't know ASL, couldn't communicate, couldn't understand Lila's fear when Beth tried to explain what was happening. Lila signed desperately. To Dutch, to Beth, to anyone. Don't make me go. Want to stay with Papa. Please, please don't make me go. But Beth couldn't understand, and the Thompsons couldn't understand. And Lila was picked up, carried out, screaming silently, reaching for Dutch, her face destroyed, betrayed, terrified. Dutch stood there, fists clenched, every instinct screaming to fight, to take her back, to protect her. But Tom Bradley's hand on his shoulder, steady, firm. Don't. You fight this the legal way, not this way. You hear me. So Dutch watched, helpless, as the one person who trusted him was taken away, was put in a car, driven off, disappeared, and Dutch, for the first time since Ren died, felt that same crushing guilt, that same failure, that same certainty that he'd failed someone who needed him. But this time he wasn't giving up. This time he was going to fight, going to make it right, going to prove that some promises are worth breaking the world to keep. He pulled out his phone, called Priest. The club president answered immediately. I need the Brotherhood. Dutch's voice was steel. All of them, because we're going to war. The Thompson house smelled like vanilla air freshener and regret. 3 bedrooms, suburban, safe. Everything a traumatized child should need, except the one thing that mattered. Nobody could hear Lila. Marcia Thompson tried. God knows she tried. 58 years old, and I am. 20 years of foster care. Raised 43 children through her home. Good woman, kind woman, woman who genuinely wanted to help, but she didn't know sign language. And Lila had no voice. Day one. Lila sat in the corner of the bedroom they'd given her. Pink walls, stuffed animals, everything a 6-year-old should want. She stared at the wall, didn't eat, didn't sleep, just rocked, back and forth, the way trauma does, the way fear manifests when you can't scream. Marcia tried talking to her, gentle words, reassuring words, but Lila couldn't hear them, could only see lips moving, making shapes that meant nothing. A stranger in a strange house trying to communicate in a language Lila couldn't access. The other foster kids tried too. Tommy, 8 years old, brought her toys, tried to play, but Lila just stared. Sarah, 11, tried to hug her. Lila flinched away. Marcus, 5, tried to make her laugh. Lila didn't even blink. By day 2, Lila had stopped trying, stopped looking at faces, stopped hoping someone would understand, just sat, rocked, drew pictures. The same picture over and over, a big man in a vest, a little girl holding his hand. Above them, a small figure with wings. Marcia called Beth on day 3, her voice worried, stressed. This isn't working. The poor thing won't eat, won't interact. She just sits there, rocking. I can't reach her. I don't know how to help her. Beth's response was clinical, professional. Give it time. She's adjusting. It's normal for traumatized children to withdraw. This isn't withdrawal. Marcia's voice was firm. This is a child dying inside. She needs someone who can talk to her. In her language, not mine. We're working on finding an ASL interpreter. But it takes time. She doesn't have time. Marcia looked at Lila, at this child who'd trusted her, who'd been promised safety, who was now more alone than ever. She needs that biker. Dutch, she needs someone who can hear her. Mr. Garrett isn't approved, then approve him. Because what you're doing now, what I'm doing now, this is harm, real harm, and I won't be part of it. Beth came to the Thompson house that afternoon. Watched Lila through the doorway, the rocking, the silence, the absolute shutdown. And for the first time, Beth Carver wondered if protocol mattered more than people. She called Dutch. He answered on the first ring. Mr. Garrett, it's Beth. We need to talk about Lila. Dutch's voice was ice. What about her? She's not adjusting. The Thompsons are good people, but they can't communicate with her, and she's deteriorating. So bring her back. Dutch didn't hesitate, didn't gloat, just stated facts. Bring her back and this stops. Leave her there and you're torturing her. Your choice. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. Dutch's voice went hard. You made a mistake. You can admit it and fix it. Or you can stick to your protocols and watch that little girl die inside. Which Beth are you? The one who follows rules or the one who saves kids? The line went silent, long pause. Then, I'm bringing her back, today. But this doesn't mean you're approved. This means she needs you right now, that's all. That's enough. 2 hours later. Beth pulled up to the Thompson house with paperwork. Emergency placement modification. Temporary return to Dutch Garrett, pending formal approval. Marcia signed without hesitation. Carl too. Both relieved, both knowing this was right even if it broke protocol. Lila was in her room, still rocking, still staring. Beth knelt down, tried to make eye contact. Lila, I'm taking you back to Dutch. To the man from the hospital. Is that okay? Lila couldn't hear her, couldn't understand, just kept rocking. Beth touched her shoulder gently. Lila looked up, hollow eyes, dead eyes, eyes that had given up. Beth pulled out her phone, showed Lila a picture. Dutch, in his vest, at the hospital. The picture Tom had taken. Lila's face changed, came alive. Her hands moved, signing, Papa, going to Papa. Beth nodded. Yes, going to Papa. Lila stood, grabbed her backpack, the one Dutch had packed with her few belongings, walked to the door, didn't say goodbye to the Thompsons, didn't look back, just walked, toward the car, toward Dutch, toward home. The drive to Dutch's house was silent. Lila stared out the window, hands pressed against the glass, every mile taking her back, every minute bringing her closer. Dutch lived on the outskirts of Pine Bluff. Small house, one story, gravel driveway, his Harley parked out front. Wooden porch with two chairs, nothing fancy, nothing impressive, just home. He was waiting on the porch when they pulled up, stood as the car stopped, didn't move, didn't rush forward, just waited. Let Lila come to him at her own pace. The car door opened. Lila climbed out, saw Dutch, froze. For a moment, nothing. Just a 6-year-old girl and a 42-year-old biker staring at each other across 30 feet of gravel. Then Lila ran, backpack bouncing, light-up sneakers flashing, arms outstretched, running like her life depended on it. Dutch dropped to his knees, arms open, caught her, held her. This child who'd been taken from him, who'd suffered because of bureaucracy, who'd come back changed, damaged, more broken. Lila was crying, silent sobs racking her small body, her hands signing against his chest. Frantic, desperate. Thought you left me, thought you didn't want me, thought I was alone. Dutch signed back, one-handed, the other holding her tight. Never. I was fighting for you, every minute. I promised you'd be safe, and I keep my promises. Don't let them take me again. Please, I'll be good. I'll be quiet. I'll do anything. Just don't let them take me. Dutch's throat was tight, raw. You don't have to be good. You don't have to be quiet. You just have to be you. And nobody's taking you anywhere. Not anymore. You're home. This is home now. Beth watched from the car, wiping her eyes. Professional detachment gone. Just a woman watching a miracle. Watching broken pieces fit together. Watching family happen. She walked over, papers in hand. Mr. Garrett, this is official now, temporary custody, renewable every 30 days pending court review. You'll need to. She stopped. Looked at Lila clinging to Dutch like he was the only solid thing in a flood. You'll need to take care of her, keep her safe, and fight like hell when the system tries to take her again. Because they will try. Then I'll fight. Dutch's voice was steel. Every time. Forever. Whatever it takes. Beth nodded, left, drove away, left them there, on a gravel driveway in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, a biker and a deaf girl, starting over, building something new. Dutch carried Lila inside. The house was empty, sparse, bachelor living, but there was a room, the spare bedroom, and inside, pink walls, a bed with blankets, stuffed animals that priest's wife had bought, toys, clothes, books, everything the Brotherhood had pulled together in 3 days. Lila looked around, signed, "This is mine, all yours." Dutch set her down. Let her explore, let her touch things. Let her understand that this was real, not temporary, not borrowed. Hers. She picked up a stuffed elephant, held it, then looked at Dutch. Signed a, "Can I stay?" Really stay. Not just until tomorrow. Dutch knelt, made eye contact, made sure she understood. You're not going anywhere. This is your home. I'm your papa. If you still want that, and you stay as long as you want. Forever, if that's what you need. Forever. Lila signed it carefully, testing the word, the concept, like she'd never had forever before. Only temporary. Only until. Forever. Dutch signed back. Firm, certain, final. That night, Lila slept in her own bed, in her own room, in a house that was hers. Dutch sat in the hallway, door open, watching, making sure she was real, making sure she was safe, making sure he didn't fail her. Around 2 a.m. she woke up. Nightmare. Silent screaming, hands clutching blankets, eyes wide and terrified. Dutch was there in seconds, signing in the dark. Safe. You're safe, I'm here. It was just a dream. Lila grabbed him. Wouldn't let go. Can I sleep with you? Don't want to be alone. Dutch hesitated, unsure of protocol, of what was appropriate, but Lila was shaking, and sometimes protocol matters less than comfort. Okay, just for tonight, until you feel safe. She followed him to his room, climbed into his bed, curled up small. Dutch lay on top of the covers, giving her space, giving her safety without crowding. Lila's hand found his, held it, and slowly, gradually, she fell back asleep. Dutch stared at the ceiling, at this impossible situation, at this child trusting him completely, at this responsibility he'd never asked for, but would die defending. Ren, I don't know what I'm doing, don't know how to be a father, but I'm trying, I swear I'm trying, help me not mess this up. The next weeks were hard, learning. Dutch had no idea how to parent, how to structure a day, how to handle tantrums or bedtime or meals or any of it. But he tried, every day, every moment. He tried, mornings, breakfast. Lila liked pancakes, so Dutch learned to make them. Shapes, animals, making her laugh, making her forget, making her feel normal. School. Pine Bluff Elementary had a deaf education program, small, specialized, perfect. Dutch enrolled her, walked her to class the first day, stayed until she felt safe. Picked her up, every day, on time, reliable, there. Therapy. Dr. Fletcher had recommended a trauma specialist, Dr. Sarah Mitchell, who knew ASL, who understood deaf children, who helped Lila process, work through, heal, and slowly, week by week, day by day, Lila started to come back, started to smile, started to be a kid instead of a survivor. The MC helped, brothers stopping by, bringing food, helping with repairs, teaching Dutch how to braid hair, how to handle parent-teacher conferences, how to be present. Priest's wife Maya became essential, showing Dutch how to shop for girl clothes, how to handle hygiene questions he was terrified to address, how to make Lila feel normal instead of different. 2 months in, Lila had friends, was thriving at school, was sleeping through most nights, was okay, not healed, not undamaged, but okay. Then Travis made bail. Dutch got the call from Tom Bradley. 3 in the afternoon, voice urgent. Dutch, Travis Crowley posted bond. Some accomplice paid it. He violated parole within an hour. Restraining orders out. But he's in the wind. Where? Dutch's voice went cold. Deadly. Where is he? Unknown. But Dutch, he's coming for Lila. He made threats. In holding. Said she was his. Said he'd get her back. You need to be ready. I'm ready. Dutch looked at Lila, playing with dolls in the living room. Oblivious. Happy. He comes near her. He's done. Don't do anything stupid. Tom's voice was firm. We'll find him. Just keep her close. Keep her safe. And call me if you see anything. Anything at all. Dutch hung up. Told Priest, the club mobilized. Brothers watching the house, escorts to school. Nobody getting near Lila without going through a wall of leather and steel. But Travis was smart. Desperate and high, but smart. He waited, watched, learned the patterns, found the gaps. Week 2, Dutch was picking up Lila from school. Normal routine. She came running out, backpack bouncing, signing about her day, about art class, about the picture she'd drawn. Dutch saw Travis 30 yards away, leaning against a truck, watching, waiting. Their eyes met. Travis smiled, lifted his hand, made a gun shape, pointed at Lila, mouthed, soon. Dutch's blood went cold. He signed to Lila, stay behind me, don't move. But Lila had seen Travis, recognized him, went rigid, started signing, panicked. Him, bad man, here, he's here. Dutch pulled out his phone, called Tom, then Priest, then positioned himself between Lila and Travis. Body as shield, ready. Travis started walking over, slow, confident, knowing he had the upper hand, knowing Dutch couldn't do anything with witnesses, with teachers, with parents watching. He got within 10 feet. Dutch, good to see you. And little Lila, how's my girl? She's not your girl. Dutch's voice was quiet, controlled. You need to leave, now, before you get hurt. Hurt? Travis laughed. By who? You, big scary biker. What you gonna do? Beat me up in front of all these people, in front of the cops. He looked around, performing. Go ahead, I'll sue. Take everything. Take your house, your bike, your club, everything. Dutch didn't move, didn't blink. You're violating a restraining order. You're on parole. You're threatening a minor. Police are already on their way, so you can walk away now or you can go back to prison. Your choice, Bertramez. Travis's smile faded, replaced by rage, chemical, manic. He reached into his jacket. Dutch saw it, knew what was coming, moved fast. The knife came out, cheap, folding, but sharp enough. Travis lunged, aiming for Dutch, for Lila, for anyone. Dutch sidestepped, Marine training taking over, combat reflexes. He caught Travis's wrist, twisted, applied pressure, the way that breaks things, the way that stops threats. Travis screamed, dropped the knife, went to his knees. Dutch kicked the knife away, put Travis face down, arm wrenched behind his back, knee in his spine, full control. Teachers were screaming, parents pulling kids back. Lila behind Dutch, hands over her eyes, not watching, not seeing. Sirens, Tom's cruiser, 2 more units, officers rushing out, guns drawn, get down, get on the ground. Dutch released Travis, step back, hands up. That's Travis Crowley, wanted for bail violation, parole violation, stalking, attempted assault with a weapon, knives on the ground, witnesses everywhere. Tom moved in, cuffed Travis, read rights, other officers securing the scene, parents giving statements, teachers corroborating. Everything by the book, everything legal. Travis was screaming the whole time. She's mine, that bitch is mine. I'll kill her, I'll kill you. I'll kill all of you. Tom pulled him up, shoved him in the cruiser, slammed the door. The screaming muffled now, contained. Dutch turned, knelt, signed to Lila. Over, he's gone, can't hurt you. Ever again, this time he's not coming back. Lila was shaking, crying but signing. You saved me. Again, you always save me. Always, Dutch signed. As long as I'm breathing, nobody hurts you. Ever. Tom walked over. We got him. All of it on camera, security, parents' phones, everything. He's done. Looking at attempted assault, stalking, weapons charges, plus the original attempted murder. He'll do 15 years minimum, maybe more. Good. Dutch stood, still shaking, adrenaline fading, leaving exhaustion. Can we go home? Yeah, go home. I'll need your statement tomorrow. But for now, get her out of here. Get her safe. They drove home in silence, Lila in the back seat, holding Dutch's vest, the one he'd taken off and given her. For comfort, for safety, for the smell of leather and exhaust and home. At the house, Priest was waiting, half the club with him. Word had traveled fast. Brothers checking the property, making sure no more surprises, making sure. Dutch carried Lila inside, past the Brotherhood, past the concern, past everything, to her room, her safe space, her safe. She didn't want to let go, didn't want him to leave. So he stayed, sat on her floor, let her hold his hand, let her know he was there. 2 weeks later, court date, custody hearing, the big one, the permanent one, the one that would decide everything. Judge Helen Morrison presiding, family court, 55 years old, no nonsense, fair, known for putting children first. Always. Cassie was there, out of rehab, 60 days clean, looking healthier, stronger, but haunted, broken, knowing what she was about to do. Beth Carver testified first, described the case, the initial removal, the Thompson placement disaster, Dutch's dedication, the bond between him and Lila, her recommendation, hesitant, uncertain, but honest. I believe Mr. Garrett is the best placement for Lila. Despite the irregularities, despite the unconventional nature, he's what she needs. Sheriff Tom Bradley testified, vouched for Dutch, for the MC, for the community support. This man has proven himself, over and over. He's earned this. That little girl chose him, and she chose right. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, Lila's therapist, testified about progress, about healing, about the attachment. Lila has bonded with Mr. Garrett in a way I rarely see. Healthy, secure, stable. Removing her now would be devastating. possibly permanently damaging. Then Cassie, walking to the stand, thin, fragile, but determined, clear-eyed. Judge Morrison looked at her. Ms. Morgan, you're here to testify regarding custody of your daughter. Yes, Your Honor, but also to relinquish my rights. Voluntary termination. The courtroom went silent, shocked, even though everyone knew. Hearing it was different, permanent, final. Explain. Judge Morrison's voice was gentle. Careful, Cassie took a breath. I love my daughter, more than anything in this world. But I'm an addict, a failure. I've put her in danger, let terrible men into her life, almost got her killed. And I can't. I can't keep doing that. Can't keep risking her. She deserves better, deserves safety, deserves someone who won't fail her. You're 60 days clean. That's significant. You could get her back. With support, with monitoring. I could. Cassie's voice was steady. But I won't, because loving her means letting her go, means giving her to someone who can actually protect her, someone who already loves her. Someone. She looked at Dutch. Someone who saved her life, who fought for her, who proved he'd die before letting her get hurt. Judge Morrison followed her gaze. Mr. Garrett, you're asking for permanent custody, full parental rights. That's a serious commitment. Dutch stood. Yes, Your Honor, I'm asking for that. And I understand what it means. I'm ready. You're a member of a motorcycle club. You have a minor record. You've never been a parent. Why should I give you this child? Because she's mine. Dutch's voice was simple, honest. Not legally, not yet. But in every way that matters, she's mine, and I'm hers. And I'll spend the rest of my life making sure she knows she's loved, safe, heard, everything she deserves. The judge studied him. Long moment, then looked at the file, at the character references, at the letters, at the evidence. I'm going to allow Lila to testify, via video, with an interpreter. I want to hear from her, what she wants, where she feels safe. Lila appeared on screen, small, nervous, but brave. Dr. Mitchell beside her, interpreting. Judge Morrison signed, slowly, unpracticed, but clear enough. Hello, Lila. I'm the judge. I decide where you live, who takes care of you. Do you understand? Lila nodded, signed back. I understand. Who do you want to live with? Your mother, or Dutch, or somewhere else? Lila didn't hesitate. Papa Dutch. Want to live with Papa? Why? Why do you want to live with him? Because he hears me. Lila's signs were fierce, certain. Everyone else, they see me, but they don't hear me. Papa hears me, understands me, makes me feel like I matter, like I'm real, like I'm not broken. You're not broken, honey. Judge Morrison's voice was gentle. I know. Lila signed. Papa taught me that. Taught me I'm perfect the way I am. That being deaf doesn't make me less, makes me different, special. He taught me that. And I love him. Want to stay with him forever. Judge Morrison wiped her eyes, professional composure cracking. Then looked at the courtroom, at the evidence, at the people waiting for her decision. I'm granting permanent foster placement to Dutch Garrett, with the option to file for formal adoption after 6 months. Ms. Morgan's voluntary termination of rights is accepted. Mr. Garrett, you are now Lila's legal guardian, full custody, full parental rights. Don't make me regret this. Dutch could barely speak. I won't, Your Honor. I swear, I'll be what she needs. Court adjourned. People standing, Cassie crying, hugging Dutch, thanking him, signing to Lila. I love you, baby. Be happy. Be safe. Lila signing back. Love you, Mama. Thank you for loving me enough to let me go. Outside the courthouse, the Brotherhood waiting. 40 bikes, brothers cheering, celebrating. Lila wearing a tiny leather vest someone had made. Custom. With her name. Princess Lila. Iron Ridge, MC. 6 months later. Adoption day. Same courthouse. Same judge. Different energy. Joyful. Certain. Right. Judge Morrison signing the papers. Made it official. Lila Morgan was now Lila Garrett. Legally. Permanently. Forever. Dutch signed to her. You're my daughter now. Real daughter. Not foster, not temporary, real. Lila signed back. You're my real papa, forever papa. They celebrated at the clubhouse, cake, balloons, family, brotherhood, everyone who'd fought for this, who'd made this possible, who'd proven that family isn't blood. It's choice, it's love, it's showing up. Later, just Dutch and Lila, riding his Harley to the cemetery, to the place he hadn't visited in 20 years. To the grave he'd avoided because guilt was easier than grief. Ren Marie Garrett. The headstone read, beloved daughter, beloved sister, forever young, forever remembered. Dutch knelt, Lila beside him. They'd brought flowers, purple ones, Ren's favorite. Lila signed, this is your sister, the one with wings, yeah. This is Ren. She was like you, deaf, beautiful, smart, funny, and I lost her, failed her, let her drown because I looked away. Not your fault. Lila's signs were firm. She knows that. She forgives you. Dutch couldn't speak, could only place the flowers, could only touch the stone, could only sign, Ren. This is Lila. She's your sister now. I couldn't save you. But I saved her. And I think maybe that's what you wanted. Maybe you sent her to me, gave me a second chance. To be the brother I should have been to you. Lila placed her small hand on the stone. Hi, Ren. I'm your sister. I'll take care of Papa. Make sure he's not sad. Make sure he knows you love him. Dutch broke. Finally, after 20 years. Broke, cried, let it out, the guilt, the grief, the weight he'd carried. All of it, while Lila held his hand, while his dead sister's memories surrounded them. While healing finally became possible. They sat there until sunset, Dutch signing stories about Ren, about her smile, her jokes, her fierce love of dragons and rocks and adventures. Lila listening, learning about her sister, the one she'd never meet but would always know. As they rode home, Lila's arms around Dutch's waist, helmet too big, light-up sneakers dangling. She signed against his back, one-handed, happy, so happy. Dutch signed back. Same hand, same gesture. Me too, kiddo. Me too. 1 year later, Fall Festival, Pine Bluff Elementary. The whole town turned out. Booths, games, food, community. Iron Ridge MC had a booth. Charity motorcycle ride sign-ups, raising money for deaf children's programs, for ASL education, for the things that mattered. Lila ran the lemonade stand, with her friends, signing to customers, making change, confident, happy, thriving. A reporter approached, local news, doing a story. She interviewed Lila, through an interpreter. What do you want to be when you grow up? Lila signed, clear, certain, proud. ASL teacher. Help deaf kids, make sure they're not scared. Make sure they know someone hears them. The reporter smiled. That's beautiful. Why teaching? Because Papa heard me when nobody else could. Lila's signs were passionate, real. Want to be like that. Want to help kids like me. Want to make sure nobody feels alone. Dutch watched from across the festival. Prayed swelling. This child, this impossible miracle, who'd run to him in a Walmart, who'd chosen him, who'd saved him as much as he'd saved her. Priest walked over. Good job, brother. Look at her, thriving. Not my doing. Dutch's voice was rough with emotion. All her. She's everything I'm not. Everything I wish I could be. She's everything you taught her to be. Priest clapped his shoulder. You gave her safety, love, a voice. That's everything. Travis got 15 years. Dutch changed subjects. Can't handle the emotion. Heard from Tom yesterday. Attempted murder, assault, stalking, weapons, everything. Good. Let him rot. Cassie's been sober 9 months. Visits twice a month. Supervised, but she's trying, really trying. And Lila understands, forgives her mother, loves her, even knowing. That's because you taught her that. That love doesn't mean forgetting, means understanding, forgiving, moving forward. The festival continued. Music, laughter, life, normal, beautiful, perfect. As the sun set, Dutch and Lila rode home, through Pine Bluff streets, past familiar places, past the Walmart where it started, past the hospital, past the courthouse, past the cemetery where Wren waited. Home was a small house on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, but filled with life now. Lila's drawings on the fridge, her backpack by the door, her light-up sneakers by the couch, her presence in every room that night. Bedtime routine, pajamas, teeth brushed, story signed. Dutch sat on the edge of Lila's bed, signing. Happy. Lila signed. Very happy. Love you, Papa. Love you too, Princess. Always. Forever. Will you always be here? Even when I'm grown up. Even when I don't need you anymore. Dutch smiled, even then. Especially then. You'll always be my daughter. Always be my family. Nothing changes that. Nothing. Lila hugged him, fierce, strong, this 7-year-old who'd survived hell, who'd found heaven in the most unlikely place, who'd proven that family happens. Not by blood, but by choice, by love, by refusing to let go. Dutch tucked her in, left the nightlight on, the one shaped like a dragon, for Wren, for memory, for hope. In the hallway, he pulled out his wallet. Inside, a photo, worn, faded, 20 years old. Wren at the lake, smiling, holding a rock, looking at the camera like it held all the answers. And beside it, new photo, recent, Lila on Dutch's motorcycle. Helmet too big, arms spread wide, face split in a grin. Living, thriving, free. Two sisters, 20 years apart, both deaf, both loved, one lost, one saved. Both mattering, both remembered, both forever part of Dutch's heart. He whispered, too quiet for anyone to hear. Wren, thank you. Thank you for sending her to me. Thank you for the second chance. I won't waste it. I promise. She'll know she's loved. Every single day, for the rest of my life. And somewhere, maybe. A little girl with Wren's smile and Wren's hands. Smiled back, because her brother finally understood. That love doesn't end, it transforms. It finds new people to hold, new promises to keep, new lives to save. The house settled, quiet, peaceful, safe, in her room. Lila dreamed, not nightmares anymore. Dreams, good ones, of motorcycles and family and forever. Of a papa who heard her, who fought for her, who proved that sometimes the scariest looking person is the safest one to run to. In his room, Dutch slept, really slept, for the first time in 20 years. No nightmares, no guilt, no drowning, just peace. Just the knowledge that he'd done something right, something that mattered, something that redeemed every mistake, every failure, every moment of looking away. Because he'd looked back, he'd paid attention. He'd heard a silent cry in a crowded Walmart, and he'd answered, and everything changed. Morning came, Saturday, charity motorcycle ride day, Iron Ridge MC annual event, raising money for deaf programs, for ASL education, for the cause that mattered. 100 bikes lined up, brothers, families, community, all riding together. Lila on Dutch's bike, wearing her vest, Princess Lila, Iron Ridge MC, making her papa proud. They rode through Arkansas countryside, past farms and fields, past small towns and big skies, past everything that made this place home. At the front, Dutch and Lila, leading, family, brotherhood, love. Lila's arms around Dutch's waist, helmet secure, laughing silently, joy radiating, pure, real, earned. Dutch signed one-handed, love you, kiddo. Lila signed back against his vest, love you, Papa, forever. And behind them, invisible but present, Wren rode too, wings spread, spirits soaring, finally at peace because her brother had done what she'd needed him to do. He'd saved someone. He'd kept someone safe. He'd loved someone enough to fight the whole world for them. The ride ended at a park, barbecue, music, community, Lila selling lemonade again, signing to everyone, making friends, being normal, being happy, being exactly what a 7-year-old should be. A man approached Dutch, older, 70 maybe? Veteran cap, Marine Corps. He signed, slowly, rusty, but real. Thank you for what you did, for that little girl, for showing people that bikers, that Marines, that we protect, we don't destroy. Dutch signed back. Just doing what's right. The man nodded, saluted, walked away. But Dutch felt it. The weight of that acknowledgement, the understanding that this mattered, that saving Lila had saved more than just her, had proven something about brotherhood, about honor, about what it means to be a protector. As the sun set, as people packed up, as the day ended, Dutch and Lila sat on his bike, watching, just being. Lila signed, best day ever. Yeah, best day ever. She looked up at him, serious. Papa, do you still miss Ren? Dutch signed, every day. But, but having you, it helps, makes the missing hurt less, makes the memory sweeter. Because I think she sent you to me, to help us both heal. Do you think she's happy? That we're family. Dutch looked at the sky and at the stars just starting to appear, at the vastness of everything. I know she is, because you're exactly what she would have wanted for me. Someone to protect, someone to love, someone to hear. Lila hugged him. I'm glad I ran to you that day at Walmart. I was so scared, but I saw your vest and I knew. I just knew you were safe, you would help. How did you know? Lila shrugged, signed. Sometimes you just know. Kids know. We can feel it. Who's safe, who's not. And you felt like home. Even before I knew what home was. Dutch's throat tight. You are home, kiddo. You're my home. They rode back, through familiar streets, past the Walmart, the place where everything started, where a deaf girl ran to a biker, where two broken people found each other, where family happened. The Walmart was still there, still crowded, still full of people shopping, living, existing, none of them knowing, none of them understanding, that this place, this ordinary place, had been the site of a miracle. Dutch and Lila didn't stop, just rode past, acknowledged it, remembered, then kept going, toward home, toward tomorrow, toward forever. At the house, bedtime, routine, normal, perfect. Lila signed. Will you tell me a story? About you and Ren, when you were young? Dutch signed. Which one? The dragon egg. The one at the lake. Dutch's heart clenched, but he told it. About Ren finding the rock. About her insisting it would hatch. About her keeping it. About her believing in magic even when the world said magic wasn't real. And you know what? Dutch signed. I think she was right. I think that rock did hatch, just took 20 years. And what hatched, what came from it, was you, Lila smiled. I like that story. Like being a dragon, being special, being magic. You are magic, kiddo. Every day, every moment, you're the magic I didn't believe in, the miracle I didn't deserve, the second chance I never thought I'd get. Lila climbed into bed, pulled the covers up, signed sleepily. Love you, Papa. Thank you for hearing me. Dutch signed back. Love you, Princess. Thank you for running to me. He turned off the light, left the door cracked, walked to his room but stopped, looked back. At this child sleeping peacefully, at this life he'd built, at this family he'd earned, and Dutch Garrett, former Marine, Iron Ridge MC, man who'd spent 20 years drowning in guilt, finally breathed, finally forgave himself, finally understood that some things you can't undo. You can only move forward, only make new choices, only save new people, only prove that redemption is real. Outside, Arkansas night, stars bright, air cool, somewhere, a motorcycle engine, a dog barking, life continuing, normal, beautiful, perfect. And in a small house on the edge of Pine Bluff, two people slept, father and daughter, not by blood, by choice, by love, by a chance meeting in a Walmart dairy aisle, by a desperate run to a scary stranger, by a promise kept, by a life saved, by everything that matters more than genetics ever could. The silent cry had been heard. The girl had been saved. The biker had found redemption. The family had been formed. And love, real love, the kind that fights and bleeds and never gives up, had won. That's how it ended. Not with tragedy, not with loss, but with hope, with healing, with home. A biker and a deaf girl, an impossible story, an unlikely family, a second chance that saved two lives, and proved, once and forever, that sometimes the person who looks most dangerous is exactly who you need to run to, is exactly who will save you, is exactly who will fight the world to keep you safe. And sometimes, just sometimes, the story gets to have a happy ending, even in Pine Bluff, even starting in a Walmart, even when nobody expected it. Because love doesn't care about expectations, it cares about truth. And the truth is simple. Family happens, not because of blood, but because someone shows up, someone stays, someone fights, someone hears a silent cry and answers, always, forever, home.